playoff weekend's electric, whether you're a part of it or not.
I mean, it's British ice hockey festival. You know, that's the biggest and best of what we've got.
I think the excitement on people that week was, you know, you could tell there was something special happening.
So Walks was doing his stick in the corridor. And I walked past, he goes, "What's the score, coach?" I says, "Cardiff are going to be in the final." And he looked at me and he said, "Tomo, we wouldn't want it any other way."
9 days of madness.
A few days after the win and going back in for the preparation of, you know, the big playoff weekend, it's definitely down to business.
I thought it was going to be different. I thought guys were still going to kind of be not in party mode, but in celebratory mode. But it wasn't. Everybody come in ready to work. Everybody come in focused on the weekend ahead.
We had to look at who was actually fit for practice, or would people benefit from having 1 or 2 days off. I mean, there was a handful of players that we opted to give them that Tuesday off, just give them an extra day rest. But you have people like Levi, his knee was hanging off, and that's where Tomo is great as a coach, and he's all ears for who needs that extra bit of recovery.
Back to work, but a little bit more extra focus, knowing, you know, we're 2 games away from the trophy, and Tomo was really hitting home and reminding us about that. We're 2 wins from picking up some silverware.
Mentally, you just know you got a war coming, and it's an exciting and a fun one.
It's very easy to get your players motivated after what we just achieved against Nottingham. And, you know, we all came back in on the Tuesday morning knowing that we were playing Belfast in the semi-finals.
In previous years, we've kind of had their number, and then this year, you know, not so much. It was kind of, you know, tied almost throughout the year, and we knew they had a great power play, and we knew how dangerous, you know, and dynamic some of their players were, and how good defensively we had to be.
Just working on fine-tuning systems, fine-tuning the power play, the penalty kill. It's been a long season, we played a lot of hockey, so Tomo wasn't killing us in practice, but we're just fine-tuning the little things, how Belfast play, what we need to do, the trap, our systems, you know, how we're going to kill on the penalty kill against their power play, how we're going to play on the power play against their penalty kill. There's a lot of video and how we're going to play against them.
To prepare for one team is strange, because normally week by week you've got 2 games ahead of you, so you'll do a bit of systems on both teams. But that whole week preparing for one team was good, but it was a weird feeling.
The bus ride in was pretty relaxed, actually.
It was different to the week previous. It was a bit more relaxed. The boys have told me before, it's a fun weekend when you're winning. It's a fun weekend when you've won it. But it is a fun weekend. You got to enjoy it for what it is.
You know, and it was my first experience at the playoff weekend, and you know, some of the boys had been through it, and I'd asked them about it and everything, and you know, you don't quite know what to expect.
I mean, it's British ice hockey festival. You know, that's the biggest and best of what we've got, and it's one event for the weekend. So we're going down there and we're getting updates on the scores. And
someone on Twitter was looking at the scores, and someone said that Dundee were up by a couple of goals, and Moose sits, you know, a few seats down, and you know, as dry as Moose is, he just he looked behind and just said, don't get too excited, Cardiff will win. So it's like, you know, we all start laughing at Moose, and he's like, well, no, he's got a point.
You know, you're sitting there hoping, come on, Dundee, pull it off. And it was tight. You know, they had a lead, but the depth of Cardiff, the experience of Cardiff took over in the end. Dundee did a fantastic job, a great job. And
the playoff weekend's electric, whether you're a part of it or not. Just to go there, it's a great weekend. So to be playing in it, you get extra tingles.
The coaching staff and the staff were there. You know, we were watching the Cardiff and Dundee game, and then, you know, our players, you know, got off the bus from Sheffield, and they walk in, and to see the bank of orange there, and everybody's cheering for everybody bar Sheffield, and that spurred us on. And so Walks was doing his stick in the corridor, and I walked past. He goes, "What's the score, coach?" I says, "Cardiff are going to be in the final." And he looked at me and he said, "Tomo, we wouldn't want it any other way." And that stayed with me, you know, and I just kind of smiled as I walked into the office.
We were second to them all year in everything, and you know, it was almost like we had a task which wasn't kind of finished, and we owed them.
You know, semi-final against Belfast, we know they're a good team. We've had some really good games against them during the season, and we know we definitely can't take them lightly.
That we had a plan. We were going to be very compact. We were going to give them time on the puck, as long as it was on the outside. We felt if we take away their time and space in the scoring areas, we keep them to the perimeter.
It wasn't anything that he hadn't told us before. The biggest message was last week would be wasted if we didn't win today and tomorrow. By this point, we knew who we were going to play in the final, and if anything, that spurred us on even more because they had 2 up on us this year, and we wanted that. We wanted that chance to beat them.
Sheffield wearing white jerseys, orange shorts, white socks and orange helmets. It's the all teal of the Belfast Giants with flashes of red. Martinelli will bring it away for the Giants. Saviano, quick pass to Shields, had a great year. Saviano chopped to the middle. Levi Nelson, though, is back. And now Zack Fitzgerald. The outlet pass to Dowd. Dowd reversing well. Now into the zone comes Debian. Fires and scores! Short side! Guillaume Debian scored the winner 6 days ago to put the Steelers into the semi-finals. And he opens his account with a low slap shot here.
That first goal was big. What a beautiful shot. Again, we said he was dumping the puck, but Desi, that was a bullet. It was a great shot, and that settled our nerves.
It had more importance of just being the first goal. It really kind of settled us down. You know, got us into that game.
You know, you got all the Nottingham fans sitting behind us on the bench there, and you know they're all upset about it, and it was kind of a nice mixture of happiness and hate together.
You know, when you score the first goal and you think what we've just gone through to beat Nottingham, we felt as a group, okay, we can play this a different way now. We can. You want to extend that lead, of course you want to extend that lead, and the majority of the puck possession was with Belfast at that time, but we didn't feel threatened by it. We talked about it, we planned, we practiced it, what we felt they would do or what we felt we could do to stop them. So when we got that lead, we felt very comfortable that if we extended it, great. If we didn't, we thought we could keep hold of it.
Sheffield Steelers trying to push, but Belfast will clear. They've got a 3-on-2. Steelers caught too deep. And now they come into the zone. Forney lays it off. What a chance. Glove save on Rutherford by Irvins Mustikovs.
You know, you talk about your star players doing what they need to do to win you a game, but Moose was our star that night.
I think if it wasn't for Moose, you know, I don't think we're coming away from that game with a win and making it through to the final.
That's what Moose is there for, to stop pucks, but he did it to some extent that game. He made some absolutely fantastic saves. You know, you could have had a montage on just Moose from that game, and that would not cover some goalies' highlights for a season.
You know, we couldn't get anything, create anything, we couldn't get any momentum, we couldn't get on the puck.
We sat back and they kept on coming and coming and coming. Give them credit, they played amazing. But defense wins championships.
They had some chances, but I'm going to say because I'm a demon, but I think the defence and especially Moose that game was outstanding.
Once you go through the dryness of him and go through his humour, he's very competitive, and he wants to play every single minute and every single game. He wants to push himself as much as he can. Not so much in practice, but you know, certainly in games.
I love him. He's not one to speak, but whenever he does, it's just absolute comedy gold. It'll just be a quick one-liner, real straight face, and then just sort of like walk out.
Moose is Moose, man. He's always quiet, kind of sits to himself. He's always got a kind of his focused head on in between periods, and not a huge personality in the room. So you just leave Moose be. Just let him do his thing, because it works.
You know, the character of him that day, realising that the team in front of him is not playing at their best and helping him out as much as you know, we should or could be. Just to kind of stand there shows that professionalism that he's got deep down, and that, you know, sometimes people don't see because he's so quiet and you know, so dry.
Levi Nelson, shot comes in just wide. Second chance, Levi Nelson, great save! A wonderful, wonderful stop. And are we going to have a scrap now? Keith has Debian down. Martinelli and Debian are going to go. Or are they? The linesman trying to jump in. Debian hasn't dropped the gloves. And Robert Dowd is in there as well with somebody. He's got him wrapped up.
There's no frustration. We knew how Belfast would play, and you know, people said to me, but you know, we didn't have the puck as much as we normally have, but you know, we planned for that, and we knew that, and it's where you have the puck, it's where you have it, and how you can hurt a team, and we really didn't feel that Belfast got inside us. A playoff series, and when you go through what you did against Nottingham, you're building on that experience and that emotion all the time, and you're strong through that. So there was no feeling of we're going to let this slip.
Shot chance comes out in front again, penalty coming. And Belfast are going to go on the power play.
We get a late kill. It's a 1-goal game. Davies in the box.
It's a long 2 minutes, really, really long 2 minutes. Like one of the moments where you can't even really watch, to be honest. I'm just sat in there because you know if it scores, you've got to skate out of that box. It's a long way back to the bench, and it's just not nice.
You know, against a power play, you know, you're up against Walser, Forney, Rutherford, Vandermeer. You know, all such good skilled players, and especially on the power play.
Saviano walks in, Debian gets across there, it's messy, it's scrappy, Walser has it again, Steelers go back to full strength, tip comes outside of the net, how do they not score that? Gilt-edged chance for Rutherford, and somehow he missed the net. Here's the chance for Shields, blocker save as it goes high and over the top.
The puck comes across and Rutherford's got an empty net tap in. Those are the type of goals you dream about. You don't got to do too much in a huge game like that. All you got to do is get your putter out and tap it in.
I don't know if Moose got a piece of it or he put it underneath Moose and it went into the opposite corner, but you need a slice of luck. Every now and then, you need a slice of luck, and any team that wins things has a slice of luck, even if they are the team that's, you know, dominating proceedings at that time. And we got a slice of luck. He didn't get Goodwood on that.
I owe him all the penalty kills, thanks for that one.
Sheffield have conceded lots of late goals this year. Belfast will be hoping it's one more. 30 seconds, stolen, and now they can finish it off. Levi Nelson into the empty net. He scores! Sheffield Steelers are going to the playoff final, and it will be a repeat of the Challenge Cup final. A power play empty net goal.
We were solid all night, all over the ice, and towards the end of the game, obviously, they're going to have a little more pressure. I think we absorbed it really well. So then Levi obviously pops that empty net in. It's excitement, relief, more relief than anything, if I'm honest. You're just like, oh, thank God.
I think that's where it is, you know, it's almost like a sigh of relief for that one. It's like, we're through this one. Belfast have just had the majority of chances, majority of play, but Moose has kept us in it, and we've just won 2-0 and are through to a final.
You know, if you were looking at the game, it wasn't a classic game, but from my coaching perspective, it was what I felt we needed to do and what we were good at to get the result.
The week before, it was free-flowing, end-to-end, where that game was all about the defence.
After the game, I think, after the Belfast game, I said, job well done. Excellent. Doesn't matter what Joe Blow's saying out there. Doesn't matter what Belfast did or didn't do. We got the job done today. It was a professional performance. And we said, I'm sick and tired of seeing the Cardiff Devils lift trophies in front of us. We're the team that normally does that. And we have every opportunity to do that tomorrow. So go away, spend some time with your family. It's on everybody's mind. You know, you can't switch off when you're at that point. Players, coaches, staff, fans. Great job today. Come in tomorrow, and we'll talk about what we've got to do to go forward.
Once that game finishes, you can't, playoffs the way it is, you can't get excited, you can't celebrate, you can't nothing. It's, right, get back into the room, refuel, get some protein in you, get some food in you, get home and get as much sleep as you can.
So I think in hindsight, staying at home was very beneficial. Because, you know, you get in a hotel, you might be trying to take a nap and you get a knock from the maid, or you just never know what's going to happen down there. At home, you know what's going to happen.
You could take it as a negative, you know, they're staying in a hotel, they don't have to travel, but then again, they're staying in an hotel. We all went back to our own houses, slept in our own beds, ate whatever we wanted to eat. You're not just strict to whatever the hotel feeds you for your lunch and your breakfast the next day. Personally, I think that's an advantage, you know.
I didn't sleep too well that night. I was up till early hours. You try everything. You go downstairs, watch terrible television to try and make you go to sleep. You toss and turn, and I don't know if it's excitement. I don't know how to describe it. Nerves. I think I get a bit nervy before huge games like that. But yeah, sleeping wasn't great the night before.
That night I was more thinking of, like, you know, we play Cardiff again. We can't let Cardiff beat us again. And you're just going through all the previous games you've played against them, and
how we've played them throughout the season, how they play, individual players, what they play like, what do I need to watch out for? So that starts going through your head. Start thinking, you know, what you're going to do on the power play, what you're going to do on the penalty kill, and just things like that. So yeah, it was again another late night.
You know, this is our last chance for silverware, and that is in your mind going to sleep as well, and also thinking, right, I'm going to wake up tomorrow, play the game of my life.
You wake up and you go through your routine as usual, and you have your food and you do what you do. And then we're all meeting for the bus and getting the bus, and it's just, it seemed to drag. You want to be at the rink and you want to be going now. You want to get on it now. You want to start now. That excitement's kicking in, that adrenaline's kicking in.
It's here. It's here. Let's go. I think Benny drove. We couldn't change things up just through superstition, and he drove, and, you know, put the glasses on. I think we put a 90s playlist on the radio. We had the windows down, and we were first there at the bus waiting, and you know, everyone else turned up, and we were singing Shabba Ranks, I think, Mr. Loverman or something.
You don't want to be too tight. You're too tight, you're too rigid, and you don't play your game. So it wasn't a day for hockey. With that sunshine blaring out, it was roasting hot. And
when you've got 8,000 people in that building and it's so warm, it's so energy sapping, I don't think, you know, most people understand that. It takes so much out of you.
They say if a player's lost 1 to 2% weight through fluid, that their performance is going to be impaired. So that's something that I always keep in the back of my mind, that we have to make sure our players are hydrated.
Well, when we pulled up to the rink, the game faces click in a little bit more, and you take things a little bit more seriously, and you start going through your routines. And
there was people with bumps and bruises, so that, you know, people were getting looked after, and you know, you got guys warming up, you got guys playing football, you got guys sitting down. Nothing had changed. It was, you know, it was the only thing which changed was I think the excitement.
You do the same thing subconsciously. You don't even realize you're doing it. You do the same routines with the same players. You do the same. You're in the same number of people back from the start. You just do everything so minute to a T. You don't even realize you're doing it. You got your own little unique ways you warm up, and but no, it's just another warm up. You know, the crowd's filling up, and it was hot. It was hot. I remember that. It was roasting.
Can't remember exactly what Tomo had said to us, but I remember kind of the general. It was just like we felt like we owed Cardiff.
You know, when you have a group like we have, you don't need to be in their ear every 2 minutes. That's something, you know, that they're a confident group with good professionals that have played at very good levels, and you top up. It's game 74, 75. I don't even know what, you know. They don't need a coach going on, and if there's naff and that. They just need Small words of advice, small words of direction. They're good players. Good players turn that into good things. And so you have to be aware of that. Everybody's totally focused. Just before a game, they're in their own bubble. So coming out and saying stuff the minute they're leaving for the ice it's gone. It doesn't affect that. We've done our planning up to that.
Don't take any penalties, Fitz.
A season that spans all the way back to the first week in August. It comes down to 3 periods of hockey. So who walks away as the champions? Will it be Cardiff completing the Grand Slam, or will the Sheffield Steelers be the party poopers?
Them scoring first, I think at that time, I think we actually did kind of take it like, oh, uh-oh, okay, uh-oh. But then, you realize, all right, it's just 1 goal.
Opening their accounts on player finals weekend, Guillaume Doucette, and the Devils lead by a goal to 0.
Guys were just like, yep, that's fine. We're not going to win a game 1-0 anyway. You know what I mean? Like, you come to a final, there's going to be a couple of goals scored.
It's okay, we're okay. Don't worry about it.
We're 1-0 down and no panic. Let's claw our way back.
It's a double clutch on the puck, and Armstrong battles out there. Cardiff in possession with Haddad. Loses out now. Steelers can break. 2-on-1. It's with Armstrong. He's got a man with him. Scores! Armstrong top corner. And we're tied just like that.
Exactly what they wanted. Quick response. Neutral zone turnover. Sheffield jump on it, and good for it. I'm pretty sure he was feeling bad. He took that penalty. Cardiff scored, and the same guy gets them back on level terms.
I think that's great to see when that happens, and especially for Arms, who works so hard.
Johnny was awesome, the playoffs. He was awesome. Huge for us, such a big body, was winning battles all over the ice, scoring obviously big goals.
We wanted him to play with a bit between his teeth in the playoffs, and I thought he brought that. He brought a different dimension to his game and our team that we needed. He was using his size, using his body, he was being aggressive. He was doing everything we needed him to do.
To be honest, a lot of people really stepped up that weekend, But he was one man who definitely single-handedly had 4 of his best games of the year.
Palpitations on the bench, and now the chance to go again. It's going to be Haddad. Haddad steps to the middle, shoots, scores! Cardiff lead by 2 goals to 1. Another bullet of a shot from Joey Haddad, and they lead again.
I was on the ice for that Haddad goal, and we had a face-off in their end, and Haggy won the puck back, and it kind of got held up just on the top of the circle, and was just going towards Roddy, and I was holding up Haddad as we were coming out just to stop him getting through. I was telling Roddy just to come and come and get it. I've got Haddad, but he can't hear me. It's so loud.
Roddy got caught. Do I go for it? Don't I? And Haddad's a quick player, and that move he made on the top of the circles, he pulled it back onto his forehand, and what a shot, what a goal.
I think Haddad was on fire that weekend, and he pulled a pretty special move, and I think sometimes you just got to applaud a good goal.
54.6 seconds is what the big score clock says in the centre of this arena. As Andrew Hotham brings in again, Steelers pressure, but Cardiff keep possession. And now feed it out in front, Martin scores! 3-1 Cardiff, a second power play goal! Sheffield stung, and the Devils are dancing with delight. Are they heading towards a Grand Slam?
Yeah, it was Martin's goal. 3-1 going into the first period break was a bit of a shock, not how we wanted to end the period.
3-1 against Cardiff. Is this too much to ask? Like, what have we got here? And I think being at the end of the period, you start having those doubts and thinking we've done it against Nottingham. Has our luck kind of run out? What have Cardiff got left?
And they're pretty solid. If they get up a goal or two, you've got to give them credit. They do pretty much shut up shop, and there's no way they're letting you back in again.
Goals create emotion. Emotion creates panic. There is no panic. We're 3-1 down. We're in exactly the same position we were this time last week against Nottingham. We're in exactly the same. We know and we understand what we need to do to go forward. And you have to bring, this period of hockey has to be the best period of hockey that we've played all year. Because you're a good team. You've done good things. We've made a couple of mistakes. Great teams punish you on mistakes. Now go out there and change the direction of the game.
And now Jace Coyle has it to Marcus Nilsson. Quick into the zone. Marcus Nilsson tries to shoot, but that's good play defensively by Batch. Now a chance to get it to Saric, blocker save. And it goes up into the meshing.
Great chance, great save.
You can see that we're coming, and now Cardiff are on the back foot, where, you know, that first period was, you know, maybe even and maybe the edge to Cardiff, obviously with the score.
When our fans saw the attitude of the team and how we were playing in the second period, and we were fighting and taking away pucks and winning battles and against an excellent Cardiff team, but we were penning them in. We really were. It was our best period of hockey of the season. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And the crowd, they could sense it. The crowd only react off of what they see from us. And they were immense. The fans were immense. And when Walks gets that second goal, then you could see the whole thing just, the momentum was totally swinging our way at that point.
Here is Walker, puts it in, he scores! Something from nothing, Bowes is beaten. A shot on goal and the Steelers cut the deficit to 1.
Just get pucks to the net, you never know. And I don't know if Bowes couldn't see it, or it took a deflection, but yeah. He was reading one way, it took a deflection, went the other. Big goal for Sheffield.
We said the next goal would be crucial. Absolutely crucial.
For Walks to score that one, that was huge. Huge goal.
Mizey was skating out of the zone and he had his head down and I jumped up. And luckily I got a piece of the puck and it bounced over to Walks, and you shoot the puck in games like that, anything can happen.
We didn't get to see too much of him during the season coming in late, but you could tell he had skill, he had all the attributes, and practically them 2 goals you could say won us the playoffs almost.
3-2 the scoreline. Devils take a timeout.
Interesting timeout decision.
What do you make of that? Big game like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's 1-goal game right now. Is he going to come to regret that later in the game? But
and the Steelers back in possession again with Robert Dowd, who cuts back. He's looking for a potential shot. Circles the wagons, now puts it in. It deflects off Valdix, goes wide. And Sheffield working hard down low. And finally, Cardiff can bring it away. They just dump in and they go for a change. They set that 4th line out there. A collision between Saric and Bordelot. Now Armstrong over the red line. Spins away from Bryant. Armstrong again, boos for him after his collision early doors. Fretter walks in again. Fretter with the move, he scores! We're tied at 3! Carlton Fretter goes forehand, backhand, and the Devils concede. Bang, bang, 3-3.
I don't think anyone can deny that it was one-way traffic, and the next goal was going to come. We made a play across the blue line down to Fretz low, and he took the puck to the net and he jammed one in on the backhand. But the key to that is Fretz, who just doesn't celebrate goals. He told me a great story that his coach told him off when he was a young kid, that you don't celebrate goals, you just score goals.
You know, he scores so many highlight reel goals. He's so strong on the puck, and he drives the net wide and, you know, cuts in, puts it through Bouncy. From how the puck goes in, you don't see that it goes in straight away. And then Fretz just goes crazy and starts celebrating to the fans.
He's giving it everything in front of the fans. He's showing the emotion that we're showing. He's showing the emotion that we're feeling. Fretter, the guy who hasn't smiled since arriving 3 years ago, is all of a sudden the man.
I've never seen a guy score such impressive goals and barely break a smile. I can't remember who it was last year. He picked the puck up in Sheffield, took it through a whole team, scored. Might have been against Belfast. Took it through the whole team, scored a goal, and just kind of give it like a and skate to the bench, and I was like, if I score that goal, I'm riding my stick through the centre spot all the way home.
He scores some fantastic goals, and you never see him smile or celebrate, and we always rib him for it. But when he scored that goal, when Colton Frette celebrates, you know it's an important goal.
Because he doesn't celebrate, I don't think he knows how to celebrate, and kind of his gestures were going, and again, the emotion on the bench, the belief on the bench, and we were fired up at that point.
Steelers try and clear away, big hit. We saw this from Cardiff yesterday when they found themselves in a bit of a rut. What they ended up doing was they got physical, and that's exactly what they're doing now. Lewis hammers Levi Nelson. They're going to take a penalty here.
We got that power play, and you know, I'd move Wazi from the net front to play on his one-timer side because of his shot, and I know he gets pucks through.
And Levi, just like he's done, you know, all year, was just, he wouldn't move from the front and just trying to, you know, block as many sights as Bouncy could see, and Wazi just leans into one, throws it on the net, and again, Levi's there and plays another massive, massive part.
Cardiff doing a good job with Andrew Lord. The shot will come, they score! Deflected by Levi Nelson! And the Steelers come from behind to lead by 4 goals to 3! 36 seconds remaining on the penalty. Wow with a shot! And the Steelers lead in the playoff final.
What's Roisey doing up on the point taking slap shots? I don't know. I don't think he's been up there once, but it was great. It was huge.
Matthew, why are you on the point? I remember thinking that as he wound up. Why are you on the point? You should be in front of the net, Matthew. And of course, Matthew's shot tipped Nelson, neck bulges.
He's a fantastic player for us. He's a guy that other teams hate to play against, and I'm sure if I played against him, I'd hate to play against him. Because he doesn't know what he's going to do himself, so how anyone else going to know? And I'm just so happy he's on our team, you know. When he buzzes around 100 miles an hour, he can nail you through the glass, or he can put one top corner. You know, he's that type of player. He's dynamic, he's exciting to watch. As a fan, you like to see that player. Every time he's on the ice, you don't know what he's going to do.
I feel more of a counsellor than a line mate of Levi, because I have to kind of mediate between him and Tomo, because they're both fiery characters, and there's nothing ever bad is said, because it's all coming from the right place. They both just want to win so bad, but they all like having that last little word. So Tomo will say something, and Levi will just be like, okay, but this, and then Tomo will be like, oh yeah, okay, but this, and it's like, I have to sit there and be like, right, okay, you both get it, you both want to win. Let's move on. Like it's a funny relationship, but it works.
It was such an emotional building at that time. I mean, you know, you'd got our fans who were going crazy. You'd got every other team in the country supporting everybody but Sheffield. We just wanted to keep doing the same thing. It wasn't, no, don't go looking to defend the lead.
We've been in that situation against them so many times, and you know, it's come back and bitten us. So we knew there was still a lot of game to go. And we couldn't take the foot off the gas. We had to keep pressing.
It's a long shift for Hotham, gives it away, another shot comes in, goes wide of the target. Steelers get a line change, partial at least, as it goes all the way through the crease. Held in by Robert Dowd. He puts this one in on net, tip just wide. Zack Fitzgerald driving the net. Cardiff now find themselves just unable to get the puck out of the zone.
We had all the momentum, all the pressure, and they just got a break, and it wasn't meant to be, and it luckily bounced over to Ulmer, and he puts it in, and that's 4-4.
It's a good finish from Ulmer, and having been under so much pressure, Sheffield let them in.
You know, Haddad again being unstoppable, he was unbelievable and so hard to play against that game. A little deflating, but we've been here before. We're not letting this slip through. We are not letting this slip through.
When that 4-4 goal, when they scored, you know, kind of a little bit of a broken play, it didn't derail us totally. And then the shift that Walk scores his second goal on was, you know, we were dominant in the end zone at that time. We'd had a couple of chances, and Walker makes a great play. He gets the puck from behind the net, and he sees Marcus walking in on his one-timer, and I think Marcus will be the first to tell you that he doesn't have the greatest one-timer shot in the world, and he kind of fangs on it, and it comes back to Walks. And then, you know, Walker jams one in underneath bounds, and, you know, we're back 5-4. Here we go again.
His second of the game!
That was a broken play. It was a one-timer that didn't happen. Nielsen didn't get hold of it, and I think it comes right back to Walker, and obviously Bouncer's reading the first shot. Yeah, it goes stick, skate, right back to Walker, bounces out of position, and
So close to making the save.
Falls it down the ice with a one knee, you know, staring out their bench, and you know that's the emotion of that game, and that's how much it means. You know, it means so much to each and every one of us that you'd do anything to win.
I have no idea what rubbing the ice means, no idea at all, but I loved it. And he looks at their bench, he just gives it the...
I don't know exactly started this all off, but with his first goal, he had done something, and then when they scored, they did it too. And so it was a battle of the celebrations, I guess. But also, it's a bit of a mind game when you're doing that too. You know that Hotham even actually mentioned it to me in the game, and I was like, okay, well, we kind of got him thinking about that. You know, that's a good thing.
Walks comes in a little late on in the season. I don't think he kind of took off the way he wanted it to. He wanted to make a huge impact, and for whatever reason it just didn't quite take off for him. But then come playoff finals, he comes up with 2 huge goals for us. I mean, he was a one-man wrecking ball that night.
You're really pleased for guys like that who you know, they haven't been with us all year, but come straight in, they're a part of it. It feels like they've been there forever, and they get that kind of glory.
You know, he was one of my close buddies when we were here. He was a great fit for our team. He was what we needed. He was a big, strong power forward who could finish, and he was very skilled, and he could hold the puck well. And in that game, he just took his game to another level. We hadn't seen him play that well, you know, since he got here, and he knew how big that game was, and he took it to something else. He was fantastic.
Going into the third, we had about a minute left on a kill.
Steelers intercept with Jared Hagos, and he does a good job on Joey Martin. Then Aslan will look to move it to the middle. Ben O'Connor makes the play. Cardiff have it back though with Hotham. Hotham with a little move. He's trying to feed it back door. They score! Andrew Hotham! A celebration to antagonise the Sheffield bench, but he ties the game. Another third power play goal in this game.
And Hotham's the best in the business when he comes in and the way he can delay and make plays. And it ends up hitting Phillips' skate and sliding in under Moose. But again, there was no panic.
Look at this celebration.
Yeah.
He didn't like Jeff Walker's celebration. That's looking at the Sheffield Steelers bench. He rubbed his hand on the ice.
Hotham comes up and follows Walks' celebration with one of his own, and you know, that's fantastic. That's great. You know, that's what it's all about. It's a bit of jibing between teams, and what more would you expect from a Cardiff-Sheffield game?
You know, now it's 5-5. Now we're kind of getting into that last 15-10 minutes of that game.
You don't want to be that player that makes a mistake that costs you the playoff championship and Cardiff another trophy. So it was a very tight third period.
Nilsson. Marcus Nilsson for the Steelers with speed. He goes round the outside. 9 seconds to go. Chance for Walker. Couldn't get good wood on it. And folks, we're going to go to overtime.
You know, at the end of regulation, we're going into overtime, and I hadn't cut my bench down, and Cardiff had.
They were playing guys more and more. They shortened their bench, where we went the other way. We were playing everyone and keeping everyone fresh.
There's no way, if we'd have gone down to 3 lines, and you know, that we could have kept up that kind of pressure. Cardiff are too good a team, way too good a team. They skate too well. They're too skilled, they're too smart.
I don't know if the season caught up with him because they had a lot of hard games, you know, pushing for the league title or what, but I did feel like there was flagging a little bit, and our fitness, like I said, working with Danny was key.
Training all year with Danny and Paul keeping us in one piece, and Danny even adding to all that too. The guy does a million things that he doesn't even need to do for the boys, and those guys were running around with oranges and these gel packs and waters and I think some of that baby formula stuff. I don't remember who had that, but somebody might have had that.
I really had to make sure, all right, what have we got and how can we almost sparingly use this? have we got enough energy gels? Have we got electrolyte? Have we got caffeine? So I'm looking at which players need what and giving them out accordingly. It wasn't just, all right, let's give them this for the sake of it. Who needs what and who's going to benefit from what the most?
That was a big reason why we got through that, because we were hydrated and we were in better shape.
Now we're in a situation of going into overtime, next goal the winner, and it has to be us. We can't lose another final against Cardiff. We can't give them a grand slam.
He's a very good player, but the Steelers will break in. What a chance this is. The Steelers to win it. Where's the puck? It's on the line. No goal, they say. How did Ben Bounds keep that out? How did that not go in?
See it again.
They'd have a chance. We'd have a chance. Off. No one ever took that extra chance which would put you into a vulnerable position.
Moose save, bounce save, moose save, bounce save. For the love of God, somebody score.
Danny was flying up and down the bench trying to get guys juice. Guys were cramping up on the bench. I mean, Danny was rubbing my legs. I was cramping up pretty hard. So you have to keep your shifts short. You have to be smart.
It's hard looking back at, like the emotions of the goals, the highs and the lows. It's hard to describe how sometimes you just sort of like blank out and get a bit of amnesia from it, to be honest. But you're just so tunnel vision up, looking forward. It's hard to look back and remember it.
Steelers fans stand and applaud at the end of every shift.
Our crowd cheering throughout the overtime and everything, it was great. They were so loud, they were amazing.
The first time they started going crazy when there was a face-off in their zone, I started looking around. I didn't know what was going on. And then I realised it was just because we were down there right in front of them, and that spurred us on.
I had a lot of fans come up to me afterwards and say how tired they were, and I'm not surprised. Like the place was loud.
Every time I went out there face-off, I had to do this. I had to, because it was great. You get them roaring for you, it makes you want to push even harder.
You're coming on the ice and you're starting to flag a little bit, thinking, oh, I'm a bit tired here, whatever. You see and hear that, and you're just like, right, nah, I'm ready to go now. And it was 100% helped us win the game, because I didn't really hear their fans doing that, to be honest.
10 seconds remaining in the first period of overtime. Steelers put it into the zone, but they're going to run out of time here. Fitzgerald will just go after it, and that will see the end.
Between the fourth and fifth, just exhaustion. Guys were starting to cramp. Physio team were running around trying to keep guys hydrated, trying to stretch guys out, just trying to get us out there.
I was sort of getting a little bit worried and thinking, we're pretty much out for it. We're coming to the end of all our sort of energy gels and caffeine and things, so I have to use them sparingly. Because
you need energy. No one's equipped to play that many periods of hockey in that heat. You got to remember the heat. I've spoke to fans since that said it was so hot in that rig, and I was thinking, yeah, try and play 5.5 periods. It was so hot, so you needed to drink so much. That's why everyone was cramping up.
And then I heard the scream of all screams. I hadn't played Levi as much in the fourth period because of his knee injury, and the doc had just given him another injection, and I remember popping my head into the medical room, and I said, Levi, he said, I'm going. I said, no, you're not. I can't risk it. You can't break down in overtime when the next goal wins.
Classic Levi and Tomo. Levi was like, you don't tell me like I'm playing. You don't have the choice in this. Like I'm going.
I says, well, get back on the bench and we'll see how it is, and maybe have a skate in between a shift, and we'll see where it is. No, I'm going, coach. He said, I'm going. There's no doubt about that. I'm going. Couldn't walk. Was helped out off the bench and back to his stall. But that tells you the character of the man and what the man's about.
I did hear about Levi, but I didn't want to try and think about the cramping, because I wasn't cramping at this point. And I think if you start to think it will start to happen as well. So I was trying to kind of like not have it on my mind, to be honest. But he's one of our best players. It's not a good feeling to know that he's not out on the ice or playing anymore. And I think the next time I saw him, he popped up and scored.
Yeah. I remember being sat there, taping my stick, and I kind of threw my tape in the bin. I always keep my tape next to me in a little pile. I threw it all in the bin. So I was like, what are you doing? I was like, it's ending. It's got to end. I don't think we can go anymore. That's me saying, like, we're going to end this now.
Steelers will push it in to the offensive zone. We're back underway in the second period of overtime. Effectively, this is period number 5.
The final period, the fatigue on both teams was shown. I think we were playing a bit smarter because we'd used all 4 blocks throughout the game, where they were chopping and changing. And you know, I don't think Batch got a shift since the second period, where we used our whole bench.
Levi had to sit out a couple of shifts. His knee was done. He was sat next to me on the bench. He was broken. Like, he was broken. He was trying to put weight on it to try and feel how it'd react, and he was just saying, like, I can't go, man. He was just up and down the bench giving guys encouragement.
Anytime there was a defensive zone draw, I'd go on for Levi, because he didn't want to put himself on and be vulnerable in our end. So he'd tell me to go, so I'd go on for him, and then any offensive zone draw, then Levi had, you know, being the warrior that he was, would be like, no, I'm going. So it's like, yep.
I wasn't going to put Nelly out.
And then he kind of turned around to Tom and was like, put me out, I'm going.
And again, it comes down to hunch time, doesn't it? It comes down to, you got to trust your players, you got to believe in them, and they don't, like I said, they don't come any tougher than this kid.
Face off deep in Cardiff territory. Andreas Valdix punched over it.
We get out there and they break out with it, and it gets turned over right in the middle. I think it was Valley kind of popped it off a guy's stick.
And you know, the way we practice and train, we come back hard to pucks. We come back hard, so we have that speed to re-attack again. And Dowdy and Nelly, I always remember, they came back and they looped, and Nelly just came back round, picked it up at full stride, and their D didn't gap up to the level of the speed that our players came in.
And the message for 2 years probably from Tomo to Levi is to be, you've got a good shot, but you have to shoot. Levi is always, you know, he'll come into the zone and try and pass it through someone's legs and try and find Dowdy to shoot.
We kind of go 2-on-2, me and Levi. I kind of look at him and give him the look to, you're shooting it, because I'm just going to drive. So I just put my head down and drive. Levi likes to feed me a lot, pass it across, but I kind of put my head down like, nope.
The week before I said, Levi, listen, we got to start getting you to use that shot more. You know, when you're toe pulling, you go in and then you go in again. Just move him, use him as a screen, because Nelly has an unbelievable shot. But you know what, he's a great passer, and he'll always look for passing. He looks for his mucker Dowdy all the time.
And I was just kind of sat or stood, leaning on the boards, watching the whole play happen. And as I see Levi skate through, I can see the D-man just sitting back, and I'm thinking, oh, Levi, please shoot, please shoot. I'm
getting blooming goosebumps now talking about it. I had the perfect angle, and in my head it was like, Nelly, you know what we talked about? You know what we talked? Now is a.
So much respect for all of those players out there who have just put everything in. Here's Levi Nelson for the Sheffield Steelers, cuts to the middle. Nelson scores! The Sheffield Steelers are the playoff champions! Levi Nelson goes top shelf, and Cardiff's Grand Slam dreams are over.
Whoa! Jesus Christ.
He rips one, and you just hear the ting, and that was it. The roof comes off.
You're trying to jump over the boards, but you don't know whether to jump over the boards, throw a glove, throw a stick, take your helmet off. You don't know which one to do first.
I jump on Levi, he screams in pain, and then I realise his knee, whoops. So we're in a pile on the boards, on the floor.
It was almost like you're programmed just to like, oh my God, it feels so good, kind of thing. And you see it and it registers, and maybe a second or two go by, but it registers and you've won that game, and this is what you've been thinking about doing and wanting to do. And I could actually honestly remember picturing doing that earlier in the day.
And then you're trying to chase Levi down. Levi's run to the back of the goal where the family were. He does his signature, you know, jump up onto the glass. Dowdy's grabbed him, you know, and you just can't wait to get in and be a part of that pile.
My gloves and helmet were off by the time I got to the blue line, and it was me, Dowdy, got in there first, and I ended up at the back against the glass, and I had my arms like this, just can't believe it, it's over, thank God. And I see Davy Phillips coming racing towards us, barreling off his helmet, his gloves, and the next thing you know, he's jumping knee high at the pile. And I'm thinking, he's got skates on, he's going to stand on someone. I'm like, whoa, whoa. All the boys are going crazy, get off, get off. But
I've never been on the ice for a game-winning goal like that, and I don't even know what happened. I completely went mental. I think someone said I lost my stick somewhere, my game stick, and I think it might have ended up in the crowd. So if anyone sees it, I need that back, because Andy, the equipment guy's been kicking off that I've lost my stick.
Being in my position at the back of the glass, seeing Davey coming barreling, jumping on was pretty funny. I mean, it was just relief that it's over, relief that we'd won it. Finally, we beat them, and it was one of the best experiences to end the season.
Davey comes and snogs me, kiss right on the lips. Ugh. But yeah, man, what a feeling.
Yeah, I was real mad I lost my stick, to be honest, but then I thought, when you celebrate like that, I think I windmilled it like this and then launched it. It's probably dangerous, actually. It probably hit someone in the head.
You know, when people say, like, you know, describe what it's like to win, but it's those moments, it's that split second after that goal where all 23 guys, you're all on that same page and you've all got that same feeling and you're all sharing it together. You'll never ever get that anywhere else. Like, I think that's why people have such a hard time when they retire, because they know that they can never get that feeling back. They can never replicate that kind of feeling.
I just looked at Jerry and we just smiled at each other, and it was just exhaustion. It was just mental exhaustion. These are the boys that had done it. And it was like, thank God for that. Thank God for that. And what a way to win it. And what a terrible way to lose it. Because it was, I think it was the best final that's ever been in the UK.
Let's go down ringside. Levi Nelson, who's doubled over, is with Owen Bradley.
Levi, you can hardly stand up. How was that feel?
Man. It's unreal, man. I can't describe it. Oh, I'm battling right now, but, you know, just pushing through it. The guys were unreal. It's just what a feeling to finally beat Cardiff.
We'll let you shake hands.
There's a ton of respect going on. There's lots of words, you know, congratulations, and both ways. You know, they had a great season too. You know, they congratulate you for that, and I congratulate them for, you know, the league and Challenge Cup.
I remember saying to Lordo, you know, you've done a magnificent job. You should be proud of your season. And he probably didn't want to hear that at that time, but I generally meant that. I have a lot of respect for them and their club and what they did. And I know there's stuff that's put out in the press from both sides during the season. You know, we're all trying to win. But when it's over, either way, if you're victorious, you know, you have to be respectful. If you've lost, you have to understand why and be respectful.
So I spoke to Richardson in the handshake, and, you know, I lived with him in Kazakhstan for a little while, and, you know, it's a hell of a game. Same with Myers, all the guys, like, what a game, congratulations, and congratulations on the year. You know, speaking to their players, a great season, well done on the league and the cup, and that's that last game. There's no hard feelings after that game. You can't get them next week. You can't hold any grudges next week. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those that you just have to, you got the respect.
You shake hands and you know, the beers are on the ice already, and, you know, you can't wait to lift the trophy and you know, pass it on to the team and you know, get all the family pictures, and you see all the kids run on, so you're itching to get up there, and, you know, I know that the boys have already got the champagne ready.
You're down there trying to dish out as many bottles of champagne as you can to all the boys. Pretty sure Moose just popped his and started drinking it.
When we were all gathered round and he was taking the photo and we were waiting and we were all just jumping, just waiting, it was something else. And to do it with that block of Steelers fans who were fantastic during the game.
I just remember Jonna picking up the trophy and we all had champagne, and you see one of the videos and you hear the audio, and actually I couldn't open the bottle of champagne. It's probably because I'm not used to drinking. I'm used to more of the screw top Lamborghini bottles. But I couldn't get the foil off or the wrapper. And everyone's ready to spray Johnny when he lifts the trophy, and you just hear me in the background going, "Johnny, wait, I'm not ready. I ain't got the lid off yet."
As he raises it above his head, the Sheffield Steelers are the playoff champions, 2017.
It's great to kind of hand it over, and you know, you see how everybody is different and how they react with it, and you know, you see Benny and Dowdy run straight over to the glass, and you know, jump up on the glass and kind of, you know, salute the fans with it. And
jumping up on the glass with Dowdy, and that was all those people right in front of you, just going crazy with the trophy, and all the celebrations, your family on the ice and friends, and you know, with the trophy, taking photos, and everyone was just so happy.
To have all the families down on the ice and all of us all together, because in a hockey season it's a long time and you go through a lot together, a lot of emotions, a lot of on ice, a lot of off ice stuff. So to be there right at the end of the year, the very last game of the year, to win it, to lift that trophy, it's an amazing feeling.
That's why I came back to play for Sheffield and be a part of Sheffield, because I wanted to win. And win with my friends. Like, I've known these guys since I was young, and grown up with Dowdy, and looked up to Johnny when I was younger.
My wife and I, that was the first time we've ever celebrated a championship, you know, on the ice when she's been there. And you know, the year before we won the league up in Fife, and that was amazing. But to have her on the ice and everything was that much more special. Her, you know, holding the cup and getting the big sweaty hugs and kisses.
It was fantastic to share that experience with all the wives and kids, and you know, because at the end of the day, it's not just the 25 guys in the room. They're a big part of our team too. You know, they help just as much away from the rink as what people think. They've got to talk you down when you're sad, or when you're happy, or when something's not going right. They bounce a lot of stuff off you and keep you sane.
When you're with people day in, day out, and you get to these relationships and these bonds that you get to meet with people, and you get to do that as a group, it's indescribable, it's unreal.
It's something they'll never forget. You know, my two boys are so into hockey right now, and you know, Oshin says, whenever we play Cardiff, he'll say, "Oh, you're going to lose today. You never win against Cardiff." And I'll be like, so you know, me and him get into a discussion, and he'll say, "Well, they're better than you, Dad." And I'm like, well, they're not. We've just, you know, we've made some mistakes. To have him down there, I knew he was going to be critical of the game. And then I got Albie running around. I think, you know, a couple of years ago when we won, when Frank was here, Albie's got Frank's helmet on. So straight away, Albie went off to find Moose's helmet. So he's running around, he's got Moose's helmet, and just seeing that interaction they've got, and you know, that when I was young, we used to go down to Wembley to watch, you know, the Heineken playoffs, and I'd have loved to have been down there. You know, I was the kid round the glass, like waiting for someone's stick to be passed over at the end. So, especially if they get into hockey, I mean, that's a memory they'll never forget. I mean, you listen to Ben still tells stories from when his dad won here, and you know, Benny was down here.
My old man just came up and gave me a great big hug, and just said, "Well done, proud of you, deserve it," and we did deserve it. You know, Cardiff can say what they like, but we did deserve to win that game, and it was fantastic.
But it was great from my point of view to have my son come down on the ice and you know, and enjoy that experience. My wife and my daughter come onto the ice, but it's the players' time. It's not the coach's time.
Once you get in that room afterwards and you sat with all the boys, and the exhaustion starts to kick in, that kind of adrenaline starts to wear off, and you start to crumble. Your body starts to hurt in places, and it's such an amazing feeling just to sit there, and that kind of that breath of relief of, we've done it. Like the goal you set out for, if someone says to you at the start of every season, you're going to have this feeling at the end of every year, you'd take that in a heartbeat.
The road that group of guys took, the road that they went through to get to the playoff finals.
A couple of weeks after, you know, I looked at the highlights that Dave all puts out there, and And then you get a great buzz, you get a great feel. You know, winning's everything. That's what you work so hard to do, you know. And not everybody wins. So when you do, you've got to enjoy it. And yeah, there was a nice warm feeling that in a great game and a great advert for our league, two great teams that give everything that they had, and it went our way that time. And we're very grateful and humbled, and to once again win another trophy for this great club.
We wanted more, but we didn't give up, and we battled to that last second, and we got that trophy, and we couldn't be more happy about it. And I'm proud to be a Steeler and a champion.
One of the best hockey games I've ever been a part of. I mean, honestly, hand on heart, even if we lost that game, I would say that was one of the best hockey games I've ever been a part of.
You know, when we do our like the shirt launch and we have our questions, and you know, we've been lucky enough to win a lot, you know, since in my time here and previous. But you know, from what I can remember, and people say, you know, was last year's the best trophy to win? And you kind of think back and you will go, well, yeah, because that was last year, that was the most recent. But I think if I really think about it now, it has to be the best trophy. Just everything, those 9 days of complete craziness, and it was such a roller coaster. The Nottingham being 3 goals down, coming back, beating Cardiff after being 3-1 down, just all massive obstacles to get over, and we got over it, and we've come away with a trophy.
Sheffield Steelers is a chance to win a 10th playoff title. That would make history. It would take them level with the Murrayfield Edinburgh franchise, who've won 10 times since the beginning of British ice hockey. As for the Cardiff Devils, well, in the Elite League era, they want to become the first team to complete a 4-trophy Grand Slam. They've already won the Earhart Conference title, the Challenge Cup title, the league title. Can they add the playoffs? Shot comes in and score! Opening their accounts on playoff finals weekend. It's with Armstrong, he's got a man with him, scores! Armstrong top corner, and we're tied just like that. And now feed down from Martin, scores! 3-1 Cardiff, a second power play goal. Are they heading towards a Grand Slam? Fraser walks in again, Fraser with the move, he scores! We're tied at 3. Out there who have just put everything in. Here's Levi Nelson.